Alright guys, we got a video by Spudnik, the man Kento Nanami trusted most.
If I were to rank my favorite side characters in JJK, it would go Todo, Chozo, then Ino. And that's not even me glazing.
Yeah, Todo number one for sure. Honestly, Todo is probably the greatest side character in JJK.
Truly feel like this man put in the
Like, he doesn't have that much screen time, but as a character, pretty peak.
work to deserve that number 3 spot. Takuma Ino got his shiesty snatch, lost his depth of field, and then got his ass yeeted from a goddamn.
And bro, spoilers, but literally he's the reason that Kenjaku, Sukuna, and even Mahito were defeated.
Skyscraper, leaving him on life support for seemingly forever. Normally this is where most characters would be taken out of the story, but that boy Ino said, nah, you think my sensei, RIP Big Dog, trained a bitch? And then spoiler, proceeded to pull up on the king of curses and made that man run his fucking pockets. Ino is more—
Okay, yeah, Ino was pretty cool. Also, I don't know why he has this random cat in Shibuya, but anyways, Ino was pretty strong. He had Nanami's blade, and it actually still had Nanami's curse technique imbued into it. So Ino, when he was fighting against Sukuna, he was able to actually like hit Sukuna's critical weak point or whatever, you know, using Nanami's critical hit technique.
than just a solid dude who stands on business and stays loyal to the craft. Behind the ski mask and the constant near-death experiences, Ino's actually one of the most grounded characters in JJK. There's a certain authenticity about him, like a guy you'd actually catch a vibe with in real life. Now the diehard fans already know where I'm going with this, but if you don't, then allow me to reintroduce you to—
I mean, Ino actually is a pretty down-to-earth character within the JJK verse, but at the same time, he's only in the show for like 3 episodes.
one of the most slept-on characters in JJK.
Like it's delirium, ay, ay, like it's delirium, ay, I got delirium, ay, like it's—
Ooh, yeah, bro. Low-key, I feel bad for Ino. He had to go against Toji and Sukuna. He's basically like, he's kind of like the Jogo except for Jujutsu sorcerers. He had to fight against Ino had to fight against Toji and Sukuna. Meanwhile, Jogo had to fight against Gojo and Sukuna. Like, I feel bad for both of them, bro. I feel bad for Ino. I feel bad for Jogo, man.
delirium, yeah, like it's delirium. She just wanna bounce to it, baby, get your giddy on. To the stage with a drink like I'm Gideon, but I never came here to sing what I'm really on.
I think one of the reasons Ino's character feels so authentic is because he's based on one of Gege's actual homies. Well, kinda. In the official
Wait, for real?
handbook, we learn that his name is inspired by Gege's former classmate, Takuma Ito. Early designs in the manga is said to even resemble his classmate, but Gege has since mentioned that as his art style evolved, the physical resemblance between Ino and his friend got lost. It's not really clear how much of Ino's character is based on his classmate, if any at all, but that didn't stop JJK fans from using this connection to justify his high survival rate in the story, which kind of sucks because it reduces—
Bro, JJK fans are always trying to slander a character, bro. They're saying that Ino's high survival rate is only because he has like is only because he's Akutami's friend. Like, come on. He's not the strongest character, but like he has some decent feats, you know, went against Sukuna and all that.
his resilience and drive in the series to nothing more than a friendship buff from Gege. But it's not about plot armor. It's about a standard he set for himself a long time ago. A standard that's perfectly captured in what he once told Nanami.
数字って大事だと思うんですよ。特に術師みたいに血生臭い職業には。でも
True. And honestly, he kind of seems like a Yuji type of character, or even Nanami's friend who passed away on a mission, Haibara. I think Haibara was Nanami's friend's name. Just Ino saying all this, it really reminds me of like a Yuji or Yuta or like Haibara type of character, like positive and optimistic.
俺は頭悪いから数字の通し方がわからなくなることがある。だから迷った時こう考えるんです。七海さんならどうするか。それで七海さんに認められずに一級ってのは嘘でしょ。
To me, this moment shows that Ino is more than just a sidekick waiting for
Nanami truly was a great mentor.
his turn, he decided that if he couldn't be a genius, he would at least be a professional. He isn't surviving because the story needs him to. He's surviving because he made it his business to never let his lack of talent be an excuse to stop trying. In a world full of vessels, honored ones, and whatever the fuck this is, Ino becomes the most relatable guy at the function.
Bro, what?
In a world full of vessels, honored ones, and whatever the fuck this
The mojito memes are insane. Is this actually a canon frame? Is this canon?
is, Ino becomes the most relatable guy at the function. He knows he isn't Gojo. Shit, he knows he isn't even Nanami. But he understands that doing things the right way means showing up when it's time to die. And man, does he show up. The craziest part about Ino is that people still call him weak. Like his resume isn't completely cooked from the jump. Bro's only real matchups in the entire series were against Toji and Sukuna. That is not a fair sample size. One of these guys...
I don't think he fought anybody else. Like literally only Toji and only Sukuna. Like nobody else did he fight.
Murked a pre-evolves Gojo.
Hello, motherfucker.
And the other sent him on a
Technically, Ino was actually supposed to fight against Mojito as well because Nanami, in episode 13 of JJK, when Mojito escapes into the sewers, Nanami tells Ino to, go after him. But we never really see a fight between Ino and Mojito.
direct flight to the Shadow Realm. And guess who survived encounters with both of them? Obviously, the circle.
Bro, now that I think about it, I low-key also feel bad for Mekamaru. I forget his real name, his human name, but I feel bad for Mekamaru because he had to fight against basically Mojito and Kenjaku.
Circumstances were different compared to Gojo, but I don't really give a fuck. I think just having the balls to square up with these Gojo killers is already a feat in itself. And
Oh, come on, don't do Gojo like that.
despite getting bodied by Toji, he actually contributed a lot to the fight with Sukuna.
Gojo should have won against Sukuna.
I think Gege put it best when he said that with Gojo around, you start to lose perspective. But most great sorcerers are grade 1 or 2. Takuma is not weak. But just how strong is he? The biggest lie in the series is Ino's
Bro, after Haibara's death, I'm pretty sure Nanami literally just asked, why don't we just make Gojo handle everything? Since he's the strongest sorcerer.
rank. Being grade 2 isn't a reflection of his power, it's a self-imposed ceiling. Mechanically, Ino is a high-level spiritual medium. Unlike sorcerers who summon a separate entity to fight for them, Ino uses his mask as a ritual trigger to manifest the powers of 4 entities throughout his own body. It's kinda like with Ben 10 and the Omnitrix, and while Ino doesn't fully transform
It's been a while since Shibuya. I low-key forgot what his curse technique even is.
into a dragon or a turtle, the idea is kinda similar. Just instead of a watch, it's a shiesty, and instead of 10 aliens, it's the 4 auspicious beasts of Chinese mythology. So what exactly are these auspicious beasts?
Okay, so I'm assuming this is like... This looks like fire, this looks like ice or water. Maybe this is like earth?
And what abilities do they give to Ino? Well, according to the lore, there are celestial guardians that represent the elements and the cardinal directions of the world.
Okay, so fire, water, ice, wind, maybe?
First up is Kaichi. Ino manifests a spiraling horn that functions as a
Okay.
homing projectile. In mythology, this beast is a
Ooh, so it's basically kind of like a boomerang. Oh, okay.
charge that can sense the truth. In combat, this means the horn tracks the target's cursed energy automatically. It's not exactly an attack you can zig and zag your way out of. Next up, we have Raiki. This beast is traditionally a spirit turtle associated with water. Ino channels this through his feet to create a pressurized fluid film of cursed energy. This removes friction and allows him to move with high speed, skating like agility. It's his primary tool for positioning and dodging close range attacks. Third is Kirin. The Kirin is a sacred, peaceful beast. Ino utilizes its properties to essentially bless his internal system.
Why didn't Ino even use his... I don't think Ino used his curse technique against Sukuna. I think he only really did it against Granny Ogami's grandson or Toji or whatever.
It numbs his brain to pain and strengthens his body's resilience. This is why he could take massive physical trauma like getting flung through buildings and keep his composure without going into shock. And last but not least, we have Ryu. Also known as the
Ishigori Ryu, Jane Juliet. Nah, I'm trolling.
Dragon. This is his highest output ability. It manifests as a massive dense strike of
This low-key kind of reminds me of something that you would see in Naruto Shippuden. Like, I feel like the art style or just like how it's animated kind of reminds me of like a Susanoo from Naruto.
pure physical power, while the other three are for utility.
Or low-key, hold on.
It manifests as a
It's also kind of reminding me of like Guy Sensei when he used the 8 gates of whatever on Madara. I don't know. This just feels familiar for some reason.
Massive dense strike of pure physical power. While the other three are for utility, Ryu is the finisher. It's a concentrated blast of energy that carries enough weight to actually force top tiers into a defensive stance. But there's more. The mythology Ino's technique is based on actually features 5 beasts, not 4. The missing piece is the yellow dragon of the center, which represents Earth and the Emperor. Ino hasn't revealed this in the series, but the lore implies that it would be the alpha of his
So just another potential man. Why doesn't Akutami just show us what everybody can do?
techniques. If Ryu can affect Sukuna, then the Dragon of Earth might be at the level of Agito, or possibly even Maharaga, but that's just pure speculation on my part. There's no denying that his technique is well thought out and just plain cool as fuck. But cool doesn't win
But we barely even get to see any of it.
fights. So let's look at how Ino took this kit into the trenches against Sukuna and earned that number 3 spot on my list. I should start by mentioning that this man pulled up to the fight with Nanami's cleaver, which we learned has been imbued with his ratio technique. He successfully lands a hit on Sukuna, dealing damage and disrupting him before being kicked away, but his first real feat comes when he saves Maki. As she's being attacked by Sukuna.
Wait, now that I think about that, how is it possible that... I don't remember what the explanation for this is, but how did Nanami actually leave his curse technique behind in his weapon? Because, like, I guess it makes sense because even Kuroroshi, the cockroach curse spirit that Kenjaku freed from curse manipulation, Kuroroshi has like a festering life blade, which also has its own special curse technique imbued into it. So I guess logically it actually makes sense, but I guess it makes sense. Okay.
Ino
I don't know, for some reason I thought like it had to be Nanami who wields the sword to actually use the critical hit, but maybe that's not the case. Like, maybe if Yuta stole the festering life blade from Kuroroshi, he would also be able to use its embedded curse technique or cursed effect that, you know, spawns eggs into your body.
pulls up behind him and is immediately hit with a barrage of slashes.
Bro, low-key, festering life blade was actually like hella overpowered. Like, I kind of wish that Yuta actually did like steal it from Kuroroshi, if that's possible. I don't know if it's actually possible to steal it from Kuroroshi, because I think like I think it's just for Kuroroshi only. It's like a function of Kuroroshi, like it's kind of like part of Kuroroshi's body. I feel like I saw a theory on that, but I don't know.
And another massive kick that sends him flying out of the building. But this was all a setup, because Ino had given Nanami's blade to Kusakabe to attempt a surprise attack. This plan failed, but it was still a good attempt nonetheless, and it did save Maki. He somehow comes back from the shit, leading fans to believe that he possesses RCT, and pulled out Ryu on Sukuna, which does some damage, but he ultimately tanks it, and then blocks a follow-up attack from the cleaver. But this distracted him long enough, allowing Itadori to land a Black Flash. At this point, he's completely exhausted and thinking to himself that he's a failure and couldn't contribute anything to the fight, even though he contributed a lot more at this point than other technically stronger sorcerers. But regardless,
honestly, I kind of wonder if the festering life blade would have been like effective against Sukuna. Like, would it like stun him at the very least, or would Sukuna just not really care, since, you know, he's kind of Sukuna? Like, he's not going to care about, you know, stupid cursed spirit eggs or whatever.
the goat pulls himself up one last time and musters all of his remaining strength and chucks his sensei's blade right into Sukuna's fuck-ass face, allowing Itadori to land yet another Black Flash. At the end of the day, Ino isn't the strongest, and he was never supposed to be. But when you really look at his abilities, his decision-making, and what he actually did in the biggest fight in the series, calling him weak just doesn't make sense. He's a grade 2 by choice, not by limitation. A sorcerer who...
Honestly, just due to his fight against Sukuna, you could say he's like a high tier, a high rank, grade 1 sorcerer, honestly.
built himself up the right way.
Like, I would say end of series Ino, Shinjuku Ino, probably scales equal to like a Shibuya Nanami Kento.
Piece by piece, until he could stand in fights he had no business surviving. And when
So I would say by the end of the series, Ino is probably like around equal to Nanami.
it came time to prove it, he didn't hesitate, he didn't run, and didn't fold. This man showed up, contributed, and kept getting back up in a fight where most people wouldn't last 5 seconds. That's not plot armor, that's not luck. That's a professional, and that's exactly
Surviving against Toji, okay, but surviving against Sukuna, yeah, pretty good feat.
why he's on that podium. Don't forget to like and sub if you enjoyed the video, because unlike Ino,
Well, guys, that was Jujutsu Kaisen's most slept on side character.